Welcome to my base on No Man's Sky. Today we're going to look at how to make a stasis device. Stasis devices are one of the two most valuable crafting items in No Man's Sky. Each one is worth 18 million credits. The downside is that you need to know a lot of recipes that it takes a while to get from manufacturing and operation centers, and you also need a wide range of components. So let's get a look at how to make one. We're going to head inside, because I would hate for a toxic storm to come along and smack me while we're working. We'll hang out with the NPCs here in the ready room. Have a nice view of the ships coming into the base. Alright, so let's get a look at the components. I've already put everything that we'll need to make one stasis device together. So if you look, this is a lot of stuff. Now, the metal stacks are twice as large as they need to be. That's more carbon than you really need. It's 275, and that's more copperite. But we're really not going to have a whole lot left over, as you'll see. This is about 250,000 credits worth of components. So if your stasis device sells for 18 million, then you've gotten a 72 times return on your investment. So 7,200%. Yeah. Well worth it if you have all of the recipes and you have access to all of these components. Definitely make them into a stasis device. And we'll look as we go along at how you increase the value of certain items just by combining them and making higher tier components. The metals that you'll need: iron, iridium, gold, and emerald. I built my base where I have easy access to iron, iridium, and emerald, so that means I just need iridium and gold. Both of those come from one of the planets where I harvest gases. So if you set up autonomous mining units near portals or near your base, you should be able to quickly harvest these. If not, it's not hard to build a stockpile of them. You don't really need that much for the stasis device. So a stack of 1,000 is going to let you build 8 stasis devices. Carbon you can obviously get anywhere. I have it readily available on my farms. You need 275 for a stasis device. The gases are probably the biggest pain in the neck because it's expensive to make the gas harvesters. You can only put 3 on a planet, so you can harvest 750 at a pop, and you need 500 per stasis device, 500 of each gas. Again, I put them right next to portals, and my base is near a portal, so I hop through the portal, grab the gas, go over and grab the gold or iridium if I need them, go to the next planet, grab the other gas, come back to my base, and I've got emerald, iridium, iron, carbon, and nitrogen all there. In terms of farming, if you're already farming circuit boards and living glass, you're probably very familiar with these items. You need star bulbs, selenium, gamma root, frost crystals, copperite, and cactus flesh. All pretty standard. And in fact, the things that you need to make those items, or that you make with those items, are also useful for making your autonomous mining units and your gas harvesters. So let's get started. Those of you who farm circuit boards will be very familiar with these two items: the heat capacitor and the polyfiber. Decent selling items on their own, as you can see. Together they sell for about 440,000, so nearly 500,000 credits. Let's work with the gases now. You're going to make 2 different items with the gases, and the first layer is the same. So you're going to make ammonium salt, thermic condensate, and enriched carbon. But then the ways in which you combine those components determine whether or not you're making a superconductor or a cryopump. So let's get a look. We're going to combine, let's see, we'll start with nitrogen, which turns into ammonium salt when combined with carbon. And then we'll make the thermic condensate, which is made from sulfurine and carbon. And then the last one will be enriched carbon, which is interesting that they actually use the carbon in the name of this one. It's made from radon. We'll make another row of those. Alright, and as you can see, these not terribly valuable, but more valuable than the basic components, 50,000 each. Now let's go ahead and make the components for our living glass. I'll leave that there. We'll make them over here. And that's going to be lubricant, used in other products as well, and glass. Alright, so let me double check my list. We've got the components for, we've got polyfiber heat capacitor, semiconductor components are ammonium salt and thermic condensate, rich carbon, glass lubricant, more ammonium salt and rich carbon and thermic condensate. So that just means we need to work with the metals. Let's put those here. So a stack of iridium is worth 7,000 units. A stack of emerald is worth 68,000. So 75,000, but we're going to use half of each stack. So 35,000 in materials. We're going to turn them into grantine. And that grantine is worth 25,000 units, so not a significant upgrade there. Alright, we're going to do the same with the iridium and carbon. And that gets turned into aronium. And then the gold and iron will turn into magnogold. Again, we're not making a whole lot of money off of this at the moment. 75,000 for all three together. Let's take a look and see what happens after we've moved a little farther along. Alright, so we are done with these. Those were excess. Obviously, I'm going to reload a save. I wouldn't really do that. I'm just going to get rid of these as well. Certainly wouldn't get rid of my gamma root. So we've got our two living glass components, our two circuit board components, and then some other comps here. Alright, so stage 1 is done. You're down now to 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 items. Let's go to the next stage. So again, these items can be combined in different ways to make different things. We're going to make a semiconductor here, which is going to get combined with our enriched carbon in just a moment. But here, we're going to make hot ice. Now let's see what those are worth. Now see, now we're getting to some valuable stuff here, 400,000 each. That's not bad when you consider those are just the basic gases going in. And here we're going to make iridescite. So the components together worth 75,000. When we combine them into iridescite, which is one of the two major components you can make from metals, now it's worth 150,000. So it's a decent return. It's better than selling the metals individually, but iridescite is not going to be a great way to make cash. Alright, so now we're down to 9 components. We're going to quickly consolidate those. Semiconductor plus enriched carbon, unsurprisingly, goes to make a superconductor. Hot ice and thermic condensate, and a superconductor is worth 2 million. Now we're getting to some decently valuable stuff. Let's look at the cryo pump here. Hot ice is 400,000. So we got 450,000 in components, which make a cryo pump, which is worth 2 million again. So 4 or 5 times as much. Let's go ahead and make our living glass and our circuit board. So these components separately are worth 400,000. You're going to see a pattern here. Circuit board worth 1.2 million. So 3 times as much. We've got 200,000 worth of components here. Now we've got 700,000. So 3.5 times. Alright. Now we're looking like we're actually going to be able to make our stasis device. Our iridescite is going to go straight into the stasis device, so it's going to stay over here. The living glass gets combined with the cryo pump, and the superconductor gets combined with the circuit board. So again, we've got 3 million credits worth of components here. When we turn that into a quantum processor, though, we now have a 5 million credit item. Likewise, when living glass and cryo pump together become a cryogenic chamber, we have a 4.8 million credit item. So now we're sitting on 10 million credits worth of components. But by simply combining them into one additional step, we gain an extra 8 million credits. And that is going to be making our stasis device right here. And there you go. 18 million credits. We can pop out quickly and get a look at how I have everything laid out here. This is your basic living glass farm. I can make 3 living glass and 1 circuit board an hour. Plus I make sure I have all of the other plants I might need for quests and that sort of thing. It's not the most efficient farm, but I cared more about aesthetics than efficiency. You You can see some of my other plants growing here. There are the solar vines and the star bulbs for the circuit boards. Some Gravitino balls and albumin pearl as well. At one time, albumin pearl was a great way to make cash in the game. If we step outside, you'll see I have 4 emerald autonomous mining units, and then 3 gas collectors. Those collect my nitrogen. My portal is just right over there. It's about a 5-6 minute trip by Nomad. And then right over here, just outside my base, with an orange beacon on it in case I get lost or confused, are my Iridium harvesters. I'll head back to the base. So iridium and gold I get from, I believe, my sulfurine planet. The iridium is right next to the portal, and the gold is about 2 minutes by Nomad away from the portal. And then you can see that I have plenty of iron available to me, and if I need them for other things, marrow bulbs are in those caves there. So that's how I made enough money for my freighter, which is where my circuit board farm is. We can have it stop by to say hi. And there's my freighter. Thanks for stopping by for a visit. I hope this was helpful. Have a good day.